never talked to me until this year, and the beginning of the year and the Epstein file stuff. And then we had a few conversations, and he's extremely polite. But
Hmm.
he knows, they all know, everybody in that group knows the situation, and so they are often very polite to me, but keep me a good arm's length, at a distance. They don't want me to necessarily like to cause trouble
It
because
kind
they
of
know that
reminds
it'll
me
cause
of,
trouble.
do you know the Joe Rogan and Owen Benjamin situation?
No, 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 I can't
So,
remember.
so Joe Rogan had, I think around 2000, 2015, 16, 17, like when Joe Rogan really got the superstar, the most powerful podcaster in the world, especially with Peterson, of course. And then also, I had the feeling that he was like recruiting like newcomers, or like he was almost like the teacher of how to podcast, And then what's the guy's name with the beanie again? Tim Pool. Tim Pool
No.
was one guy. He really like coached him, and he
And,
then also got the superstar status. Yeah, like in the beginning.
the
Wait.
idea
I'm
of
not
Tim
finished.
Pool
I'm not
being a
finished.
superstar
Joe
is so
Joe
silly.
Rogan, like first he wasn't like the Trumper or so. He wants to say, I actually support Bernie Sanders or so, or who did he invite? Others who were like somewhere in the middle, and then that's why he also, like Russell Brand was on Joe Rogan's show when Russell Brand didn't have his own big podcast, right, as he has now. So he was like recruiting talented podcasts, and yeah, try podcasts. It's really easy. I can also do it. I'm a dummy. I'm a dummy. You can do it too. You're intelligent. Just do it. Just do it. And then he was coaching and kind of electing them, and also creating these allegiances. Then also then that when shit hits the fan, like it happened with Corona, then Joe Rogan was the guy who said, no, you cannot really talk about Corona and so, and you have to be pro-Israel or so, kind of like, but always like alluding to things like with Dr. Shiva. There was this swarm intelligence, and they almost can signal to each other telepathically or with allusions, not really direct orders. And Owen Benjamin was this strange kind of Hollywood guy. He was more successful than Joe Rogan, I would say, in the Hollywood sitcoms and so on. And Owen Benjamin was this. I identified a lot with him because he's this yeah, this getting on someone's nerves, and kind of like, I want to provoke and I want to shock, and I don't, it's ironic, and why I'm not allowed to have free speech, and I want to just did like racist jokes, anti-Semitic jokes over and over again to kind of desensitize us, because it's kind of like just show the absurdity that why aren't you supposed to say what you think and make a joke and be childish on internet, because it's influential to make jokes and to make people laugh, then you cannot create a Stalinistic totalitarian system. So with Owen Benjamin, coming back to your similar situation, he just said like I'm against transgender ideology in the Hollywood, and Joe Rogan said, no, you have to stop. He tried to coach and be a teacher for Owen Benjamin, and Owen Benjamin didn't follow the orders of Joe Rogan. Then he got kicked out, and also the podcast got deleted, and there was a long like a rivalry, or how do you say, more like a Cold War situation, deadlock. Always be like this big clash of civilization, or whatever. Clash
Maybe
of character, maybe it's a character thing. What's the origin of these big conflicts?
says
What is it?
it's too hard to explain, and I'm in the middle of pulling it all apart, so I
Hmm.
just can't. I can't say half of it. I'm in the middle of understanding what it is, what
Yeah.
all of these independent sort of platforms are, and where they come from, and who funds them, and where they originate, and why it's all happening. Because that was one of the things I just couldn't understand. Is that I'd been really nice to a load of people. There's people who significantly snappy towards me in a way that was obviously pernicious, and made me say, well, okay, I've got some enemies, and then I went and looked at certain things, and then I've gone, oh, they've all got these certain connections
Yeah.
that link them all up together, and their connections in the background, and I think there's something much bigger going on.